In this episode, we're going to learn about what is known as the supply chain. Supply chain is the term used to describe all the processes in your business, right from sourcing and buying raw materials or ingredients, to manufacturing the product and delivering it to the end customer. A supply chain is defined as the network of all the individuals, organizations, resources, activities, and technology involved in the creation and sale of products to customers. Every business and its supply chain is unique. Some supply chains may be long and incredibly complex, while others are short and simple. But most businesses will have a supply chain with these following main components: raw materials, logistics, manufacturing, storage, and quality control. Let's use Mo's tasty cookie business to explain the supply chain. The first part of Mo's supply chain is raw materials. This is where it all begins for Mo. Mo needs to estimate how many cookies he'll sell, so he knows how much flour, sugar, and chocolate chips to buy. He doesn't want to run out, but he also doesn't want ingredients that go to waste, as that can cost him money. So planning what he needs to buy, finding the right quality ingredients, and then buying them is the very first part of his supply chain. The next step in Mo's supply chain is logistics. Logistics is all about moving stuff around, getting raw materials and ingredients to where Mo is actually going to bake his cookies. For Mo, this is really simple, as he buys his ingredients at the local store and he orders others online that are all delivered to him. But in some companies, getting your raw materials to the place where you make your products can be really hard. Logistics is the part of the supply chain involving transportation. Next on Mo's supply chain is manufacturing. This is where the magic happens for Mo. For him, it's baking cookies in his mum's kitchen. But for other larger businesses, you can imagine just how complicated the manufacturing part of the supply chain is. Just think about a mega factory making semiconductor chips. Just imagine how complicated that manufacturing exercise will be. After manufacturing, the next part of the supply chain is storage. Storage is necessary for Mo, as after baking his cookies, he needs to keep them fresh until they're sold. Mo needs to balance having enough cookies on hand with not making too many that could go stale, so storage is gonna be key. And for Mo, his storage requirements aren't huge, but just imagine someone like Amazon and how much storage do they need. Storage is a critical part of the supply chain. Another part of the supply chain is quality control. In this part of the supply chain, Mo checks his products for their quality. Are the ingredients fresh? Do the cookies taste amazing? Are they perfectly baked? One bad batch and Mo could lose customers. So quality control, or QC if you want it to sound better, is a critical part of the supply chain in almost all businesses. And finally, after Mo's cookies have been baked, stored, and tested, Mo moves on to delivery. Delivery is often the final but crucial step in the supply chain. It's also part of what we call logistics, which involves moving the stuff around. Mo uses logistics to get his delicious cookies from his mum's kitchen to his happy customers. Delivery is normally the final part of any supply chain.
We try to source as much of our ingredients locally as possible. However, we do sometimes have to get ingredients from other places. We mix it all in a factory, we bottle it there, we label it there, and then it's shipped off to wholesalers and supermarkets.
So regarding supply chain, our trainers will come from all across the world. They'd get shipped directly to me, and then we'd forward it straight on to the client.
I think when we look at supply chain for Muscle Food, what's important to us is working incredibly closely with our suppliers.
Here at Lola's we have hundreds of different products, and every product has lots of different things on it, so we need to have a really robust supply chain. That's from our buyers who are buying the things to our suppliers we're working on, to ensure that everything is available, because there's nothing worse than coming to decorate a Victoria sponge cake and having no raspberries. So knowing how much stock you have and when to have the stock delivered is really, really important.
Supply chains don't always follow in a logical straight line. In some businesses, different parts come in different places. A supply chain can be complicated and jump around, moving back and forward between the different steps. Logistics, as an example, is required at various points of the supply chain, just like storage and also quality control. Think about QC for Mo. He checks his ingredients when he buys them. He bakes the cookies and checks them when they come out the oven. He stores them and then checks them when he brings them out of storage. And he actually gets feedback from customers once they've eaten their cookies to check that they reach the customer as he intended they should. All of these points are elements of quality control within Mo's supply chain. You don't need to be a supply chain genius for this course, but a messed up supply chain can cause you some serious facepalm moments. Imagine Mo's planning to bake his next batch of cookies, but Amazon doesn't have what he needs in stock. Production stops, profits fall. His supply chain should have been more resilient. Poor planning could mean you're spending way too much on shipping and storage. Again, there goes your profit, flying out the window. Ruin the production, or skimp on quality checks, and you might end up with cookies that taste like cardboard. Bye-bye reputation. Remember, a well-controlled supply chain is like having a good Wi-Fi connection. You don't think about it much when it's working, but boy oh boy do you notice it when it's not. A strong supply chain leads to more efficient production, lower costs, and happier customers.
So one of the biggest disasters I had was when we got a listing with a German recipe box, which was a really exciting opportunity and a new sales channel for us. And we developed sachets, and the first batch that we made, the sachets leaked in the packaging, and that was a complete disaster.
So we had a really big disaster during COVID where we were running out of printed cans. We had to fill the product into unprinted aluminium cans, which were silver, and then we had to put a label on it because we were super stressed and we needed to find a quick supplier. We didn't do all the quality checks. So then the label for those cans turned out yellow and looked horrific.
Well, let's just say it's really, really important you know where your product's coming from.
We thought we'd finish the episode by touching on a very trendy and cool type of supply chain model. It's called just-in-time, and the concept was originally born in Japan. A just-in-time, or JIT supply chain, is sometimes known as a lean supply chain. It's a supply chain that's built on only ordering raw materials exactly when you need them, so that storage is very minimal. And with lean manufacturing, the process is all about quality and constant improvement. Just-in-time, or lean, supply chains are becoming increasingly well used. And we won't really get into this detail right now, but we can cover more detail in a new learning series that's coming down the line. So there you have it. That's your quick run through of what a supply chain is and what the main parts are. So next time you're munching on your favorite snacks or unboxing a new gadget, just take a moment to think about the supply chain that brought this to you. And that's the episode of Supply Chain concluded. Next time, we're going to look at episode 9 on cash, profit, and break even.